What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to another video today here on Pig City Hockey. This is going to be a fun one. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 Winnipeg Jets of all time. Now, just to clarify, before we jump into the list, this is going to include the Jets 1.0 and one player from the current iteration of the Winnipeg Jets, the Atlanta Thrashers era / Winnipeg Jets team, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. Either way, the 2.0 era and the 1.0 era will be combined together in this list, and we're going to be going over... One other thing we should be mentioning, the WHA will be included in this list as well. We're doing the all-time Winnipeg Jets players that have played for and under the Winnipeg Jets logo. So with all that being said, make sure to drop a subscription regardless of the team that you root for, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and check out all my other affiliated links down in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump into the number 10 spot. And starting off the list at the number 10 spot, we're going to have Ulf Nilsson. Now, Ulf Nilsson is one of the greatest Winnipeg Jets of all time, especially from the WHA days. He was a former teammate of Anders Hedberg, so when the European players decided to come over to the North American League and play in the WHA, he decided to come over and play 4 seasons with the Jets, and Nilsson put up extraordinary numbers, tallying 484 points in 300 games. He was a WHA playoff MVP for the Jets as well in 1976. The guy was an absolute gem, and he was without a doubt one of the greats of all time. There's a reason why Nilsson's number is retired in the Jets Hall of Fame banners that they have hanging up in the Canada Life Center, even though it's always the MTS Center for me and for a lot of you other Jets fans. But moving on from the number 10 spot, we're going with the defenseman at number 9, Dave Babych. Now, Dave Babych was selected second overall by the Jets in 1980 and played 5.5 seasons with the team before being traded to the Hartford Whalers midway through the 1985-86 campaigns. Fans definitely weren't happy with that trade, and it didn't age very well, but Babych was a very beneficial player for the Whalers for 6 seasons. Babych never put up a huge amount of points on the ice, but he was a leader on the ice. He was a great guy and remains one of the hearts and souls of the original Jets, and is still a fan favorite to this day. And because of the pedigree of Dave Babich's career, I felt like he deserved to be on this list because of everything he did for the city and within his playing career and the longevity that he had of being a pretty damn good defenseman in the 80s, so I felt like he warranted at least the number 9 spot on this list. Now, coming in at the number 8 spot, this is going to be maybe controversial to some Jets fans, but I don't personally think so, and I actually think if we look back on this in a couple of years from now, he can easily move up the list, and that is Winnipeg Jets 2.0 not Hall of Fame goaltender yet, but he probably will be, Connor Hellebuyck. Now, the reason why I put Connor Hellebuyck at this list is very simple. In 2017-18, Connor Hellebuyck posted a 44-11-9 record in 67 games, setting the most single-season wins by an American goaltender in NHL history that was previously held by Tom Barrasso of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, Tom Barrasso is a pretty damn good goaltender, definitely considered one of the greatest American goaltenders of all time. So for Connor Hellebuyck to come in and pass him pretty early on in his career already, it just shows exactly why I had to put Connor Hellebuyck on this list, not to mention the fact that Connor Hellebuyck in 2019-20 became the first goalie in the Winnipeg Jets era and the Atlanta Thrashers Jets era to win the Vezina Award for the best goaltender in the NHL. Banner right there. Point being, though, I had to put him on this list at least the 8th spot. I know he's had a very short time with the Jets compared to some of the other guys on this list and the careers that he had, but Connor Hellebuyck, with the impact he's made already in Winnipeg, taking them the furthest a Jets team has ever been in the playoffs to the Western Conference Final back in 2017-18, and everything else that has happened with him winning the Vezina and potentially having other Vezina series as well, because you guys got to remember, he's been nominated twice and won once already in his young career. So I had to put Connor Hellebuyck at this list at the number 8 spot. And coming in at the number 7 spot, we have Anders Hedberg. Now, Anders Hedberg is another member of the Winnipeg Jets Hall of Fame that has his number retired in the rafters. Another WHA Jet, one of the all-time greats when you look at what he was able to do in Winnipeg and the championships he was able to win. Remember, the Jets actually had a lot of success back in the WHA, winning a few Avco Cups. And the Avco Cup, if you don't know, was the Stanley Cup of the WHA. But moving on from that, Anders Hedberg was a Swedish winger who only played for the Jets from 74 to 78. But in those 4 seasons, they were very quite memorable. In 286 games with Winnipeg in the WHA, Hedberg scored an incredible 236 goals and had 458 points in 286 games. Yeah, definitely an all-time great for the Winnipeg Jets. Hedberg went on to finish his career with the New York Rangers, but he never put up any numbers in the NHL and later on his career compared to what he did with the Jets. He was an all-time Jet, another member retired up in the rafters. You guys are going to see we have a couple of those WHA legends on this list because we have to. These guys were so impactful to the start of the Winnipeg Jets hockey career and everything that has happened with that franchise from the years going from the WHA to the NHL, being relocated to Arizona, coming back as the Atlanta Thrashers and rebranding as the Winnipeg Jets, and everything that's happened. You got to respect the heritage, and Anders Hedberg, just like Nielsen, is a part of that heritage and without a doubt an all-time great Winnipeg Jet. Now, coming into the number 6 spot, we have a guy that a lot of hockey fans, even you younger hockey fans, should know about because he's got two pretty damn good kids playing in the NHL right now, and that is Keith Tkachuk. Now, Keith Tkachuk is an American power forward that was drafted 19th overall by the Jets in 1990, and he spent his first 5 seasons playing with Winnipeg before the team relocated to Phoenix. He was steadily improved with the Jets every year, and in 1995-1996 was able to score over 50 goals and 98 points. His best year with the Jets, Tkachuk could one day find himself in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He still hasn't been put in yet, but you have to remember the reason why he will make it into that Hockey Hall of Fame is because he was able to have such an amazing start to his career with the Winnipeg Jets, a guy that without a doubt was the identity of that 90s era Winnipeg Jets team, along with Teemu Selanne, one of the all-time greats, one of the all-time great power forwards as well in the NHL from that era, from the 90s into the early 2000s, an absolute gem of a player, a great guy, a great personality, great gritty player from that 90s era of hockey. I love Keith Tkachuk just like I love both of his kids. I think even though you love to hate him, you can't deny the talent that all three of those guys possess. They play like their dad, and their dad was one hell of a hockey player, so definitely had to put Keith Tkachuk on this list. I feel like he just fell out of that top 5, though, compared to some of these other guys, and maybe you're going to disagree with me, but just remember, this is just my personal opinion of some of my top Jets, and honestly, this list is constantly changing because sometimes I like players more than other times. There's things that happen. Sometimes I feel like Blake Wheeler deserves to be on this list, but either way, moving on from that, just remember, this is my opinion, so we're finally getting to that top 5. Now, coming in at the number 5 spot on this list, we have probably, without a doubt, one of the greatest Jets defensemen of all time, especially when you look at numbers, and that is Randy Carlyle. Now, Randy Carlyle was acquired from the Pittsburgh Penguins way back when in exchange for Doug Bogner and Mo Mantha. Now, that trade, honestly, when you look at it for both teams, worked out pretty well. You don't see a lot of all-star guys being switched in situations where you actually have a guy that really, don't lose in either way, and I gotta say, even though that this trade worked out great for the Penguins, and it worked pretty good damn well for the Jets, I still think the Jets came out a little bit ahead compared to what Carlyle was able to do for them and the longevity he had with his time in Winnipeg. Carlyle's career with Winnipeg spent over 2 decades with the Jets as a cornerstone of their blue line. He suited up for 564 games over 10 seasons and recorded 80 goals, 226 assists for 306 points, racking up 736 penalty minutes as well. He was an absolute gem during those years, and not to lie, he was again a really big part of that Winnipeg Jets organization and everything that was happening back then in the 80s. He's definitely, without a doubt, a staple of that Jets era of hockey, so I had to put him on that list just for everything he has. And also, Randy Carlyle, regardless of the success he's had as an NHL coach, is a pretty big staple in the NHL when you think about the longevity of his coaching careers, where he's played and everything else that happens with him. So I feel like he warranted getting onto this list at least the number 5 spot. Maybe you can move Keith Tkachuk up, but honestly, like I said, this is just my opinion. Moving on to the number 4 spot, we've got Thomas Steen. Now, Thomas Steen is an absolute legend, and I don't think I need to explain much more than that. Steen played 14 seasons in the NHL, and he spent over 950 games with the Winnipeg Jets, and it was coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Thomas Steen, another absolute legend, and without a doubt one of the greatest Jets of all time. Steen played 14 seasons in the NHL, and every time he laced up his skates, it was for the Jets. In 950 games played, Steen had tallied 817 points. He is regarded as one of the most Winnipeg Jets of all time, and one of the most underrated players in NHL history. Although he was born in Sweden, Steen has called Winnipeg home since the 1980s. He was a local guy that stays there. There's a reason why he's still connected to the franchise and the 2.0 to this date. He loves Winnipeg, and he's also a city councilor for Elmwood in the East Kildonan district of Winnipeg. So a guy that loves the city, who's been completely adopted by them, and is an absolute legend, and without a doubt, one of the most underrated players in NHL history. Now, moving into the number 3 spot, the top 3 greatest Winnipeg Jets of all time, and I'm pretty sure you know how this is going to go. Coming in at number 3, I have WHA legend, Hockey Hall of Famer, Bobby Hall. Now, Bobby Hall, I don't think I need to say much more than that, honestly. He spent basically his whole career with the Chicago Blackhawks until the Winnipeg Jets came out and did whatever they could and were able to sign the guy and get him to stay, the biggest contract ever signed by a hockey player at that time. Actually, I think it was a professional athlete at that time, and was able to come over and be an absolute gem. He played with the Jets from 1972 to 79 when the Jets were part of the World Hockey Association. He was the first star of Winnipeg hockey, and without a doubt is still considered to be one of the greatest Winnipeg Jets of all time. I don't even think I need to say more than that. The guy's a Cup champion. He's a Hall of Famer. Without a doubt, I would say top 20 player of all time. So to have him come over and even later in his career play for the WHA Jets, to have him start that Winnipeg Jets fan base and have him be the first star for this team and city to root for, I think that is a pretty special moment. Also, he's a pretty damn nice guy. I've met him a couple of times. I even got to try on his Cup championship ring with the Blackhawks. So, not to toot my own horn, but that's pretty fucking awesome if I have to say so myself. Now, moving on to the number 2 spot, I'm pretty sure you all knew this was going to be, and he had to be somewhere either on this list, and that is going to be Teemu frickin' Selanne, the Finnish Flash, one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, and you know what? That's it. We can just go on to the next one. I'm just joking. He is without a doubt one of the greatest players of all time. Obviously, he had the remarkable 76 goals, which is still a record to this day as a rookie, 132 points as an NHL rookie. 132 points. That's a lot for anybody at that era of hockey. But as a rookie, I don't think we'll ever see that point margin ever touched. That's one of those records that even the Gretzky records, maybe Ovechkin can get there with longevity, but Teemu Selanne's, that rookie records, I doubt they will ever be touched. He is without a doubt the greatest NHL rookie of all time, and not to mention the fact, one of my favorite players of all time. He is amazing. His celebration when he scored that goal too is iconic and will go down as one of the greatest celebrations of all time, with the duck hunting, with the glove. What an awesome celebration, an awesome human being. He loves the city of Winnipeg. I don't even need to say anything else about Teemu Selanne. The guy's an absolute gem, but you all already know that. Coming in at the number 1 spot for the greatest Winnipeg Jet of all time, I don't even think you guys need me to say it because it's pretty obvious. Dale Hawerchuk, Ducky himself. The late Dale Hawerchuk, I should add, because, boy, this guy was insane. I always would like to tell people that if Wayne Gretzky didn't play on the Oilers, Dale Hawerchuk and the Winnipeg Jets would be that 80s dynasty that we're be talking about to this day, because Dale Hawerchuk is without a doubt one of the greatest players of all time. He was able to reach the 100-point mark 6 times in a row. 6 times in a row over 100 points. 6 years of being an absolute unit. There are not a lot of guys that can say that they were able to put up that amount of points. The guy was an absolute gem. He was just incredible. He obviously spent a very long time with the Winnipeg Jets, and number 10 will always be Ducky for the Winnipeg Jets. He's amazing. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2001, a Hall of Fame player, a guy getting his own statue. Let me remind you, with all the news that we just announced recently, he's an absolute gem, one of the greatest of all time, and without a doubt, not even close, no one comes close to what Dale Hawerchuk's legacy is for the city of Winnipeg, and without a doubt is the number 1 Winnipeg Jet of all time. And with all that being said, that's going to round up my list, a rough list, because like I said, it changes all the time, of the top 10 Winnipeg Jets of all time, spanning between the WHA, the NHL, and I guess that's basically it. But there were 2 teams in that NHL, you got to remember. So with all that being said, let me know your list down in the description below, the comment section below, and make sure to go check out the description and check out all my links. But in the comment section below, comment your top 10 list. And remember, this is just my list, and I'm very, very curious to see what your guys' are. I made this video to share my list because I just want to see how many different lists there are out there with all of you viewers out there. So please take the time out of your day to comment it, because I would very much like to see what your guys' opinions are on the top 10 Winnipeg Jets of all time. And with all that being said, peace, love, and positivity to all you beautiful people out there in the world. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. With all that being said, stay tuned for the next scheduled videos. Like I said, I'm on vacation right now, so this is actually already a scheduled video. I don't know if there's going to be more after it. I'm recording it right now. I've got my suitcase on my bed. I'm still trying to get ready to go vacation. With all that being said, enjoy your rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and go Jets, go, baby. Woo!